So most of you guys probably know by now that Damian Lillard got bought out by the Milwaukee Bucks, cutting his tenure there just to 2 years. Although the reason was definitely because he tore his Achilles last year in the playoffs, and he will probably miss the whole regular season and maybe some of the playoffs. He was still beloved by some of the players in Milwaukee, and having him gone will definitely, hurt their chemistry a little bit, in my opinion. And there's one 6'11" Greek player I'm trying to point at here because he really loved Dame. They had a good relationship, and he doesn't seem like he's in the best of spirits after Damian Lillard got, released to free agency. But yeah, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be talking about Giannis Antetokounmpo and what he thinks about Damian Lillard getting cut or bought out. Before we get into everything, make sure you guys like the video and subscribe. It helps me out so much. I really appreciate all the love I've gotten in the recent videos, and yeah, let's get into it. So I'll first start out this video with a little bit of clarification, and it's a tweet from NBA Central saying Damian Lillard is reportedly elated by the Bucks' decision to waive him, and this is per Sam Amick. The quote goes, "From the frustrations that came with the on-court fit to Lillard struggling at times while away from his children, it was no secret that Lillard wasn't long for Milwaukee. Now he leaves with a level of freedom not often seen in pro sports." So essentially this means that Damian Lillard didn't really care that he got bought out. He kind of understood the reasons behind it, obviously because they wanted to free up money to get Miles Turner or at least be able to sign him. So he definitely understood that, especially because of his injury. And not only was he fine with being bought out, he was actually elated and he was perfectly happy with it. He wanted to be closer to his children, and he probably just didn't want to be in Milwaukee anymore. And I didn't really know that Damian Lillard didn't like it there, or at least wasn't feeling well there. But thinking from Damian's perspective, he's still getting paid his full contract, so he's going to get paid, what is that, $250 million or whatever he was making. So he's going to get all that. Then he gets to choose where he wants to play. It might be back in Portland or somewhere closer to home. He can just choose any team he wants, and that's kind of a crazy amount of freedom that if you think about it, that's a really dub for him. He also has a year off basketball. He has to recover from his Achilles, obviously, but he gets to take a year off and basically spend some time with his wife and family. But now let's talk about Giannis' opinion on this. And it starts out with a tweet from NBA Central saying, breaking, Giannis Antetokounmpo is not happy with the Bucks after waiving Damian Lillard. And this is per Chris B. Haynes. I'll get to him in a second. But not only did I see this on NBA Central, I saw this on Legion Hoops, I saw this on NBA Retweet, I've seen it on probably 3 other highly credible channels on Twitter, or X I guess called now. But people are posting this because it's super big news. Not only is it a big name in Giannis, but since it was Chris B. Haynes that reported this, that made people even think harder because he's credible and Giannis is a super big name. Something must be going on, and that's kind of crazy because this is kind of the first real news that we have of Giannis being unhappy with the Bucks, or at least being unsatisfied with their front office. And something that I didn't realize until I dug deeper was another tweet from just a random person on Twitter, but he basically said, yearly reminder that Haynes is related to Giannis's wife. And so I didn't really think anything about it because I thought some guy was just trolling on the internet trying to make something bigger than what it was. But then I decided to dig a little bit deeper and I actually found this. And it's a tweet from Chris Haynes himself saying, "To my Fresno/Central Cali folks, please support my cousin's event. It's for a great cause." And at first glance, it just looks like Chris is trying to help out his cousin. Nothing really too good to look at, right? However, if you look in the bottom left, it says the support of Maya Riddlespringer. And if you look up who that is, we see a bunch of things saying, who is Giannis Antetokounmpo's wife? All about Mariah Riddlespringer. And I'm pretty sure Mariah and Maya are the same person. Maybe they're sisters, I'm not really sure. But these people have some sort of ties to Chris B. Haynes, and that just makes me think. Because if Chris Haynes is somewhat, related to Giannis's wife, and they're probably good friends then, or Giannis and Chris are probably at least somewhat of acquaintances, Chris wouldn't make up lies. He wouldn't post up things that are lies on Giannis's name. That wouldn't be a professional thing to do, or at least a good thing to do to your wife's or your cousin's husband, my fault. So if Chris is posting this, that is because Giannis wants it to be out there. He wants people to know that he's unhappy with that Damian Lillard situation. And that just makes me think, man, is Giannis really gonna request a trade here? I might be reaching a little bit, but is this a little hint that Giannis is basically dropping out there that he might want to move to a new team? And like I said, I might be reaching a lot, but if this is somewhat true, what I've been talking about this whole video, I've heard teams that are willing to throw the whole house at Giannis. The Heat are willing to throw everything they got. The Warriors are trying to throw everything they got except for Steph Curry at Giannis. The Knicks, man, they want to throw up Karl Anthony Towns, Mikal Bridges, or maybe OG Anunoby to get Giannis. So if teams are willing to give up the whole house for Giannis and Giannis is unhappy, maybe the Bucks need to consider it. Like I'm saying, I might be reaching a little bit. We don't know for sure if Giannis is unhappy there, but this might just be a little hint towards it, and we're just speculating here. So, I mean, it might be worth it for the Bucks if all that happens for them to look at trade offers. But that's all I will say for now. I'm not going to go too deep into fantasy land or fantasy imagination, but I just want to point this out, how Giannis is not happy with the Bucks' decision to waive Damian Lillard, and there's some ties between Chris Haynes and Giannis's wife. That's all I'm going to say. Make sure you guys leave comments down below what you guys think about this. It's kind of crazy in my opinion. Make sure you guys like the video and subscribe like I always say. It helps me out so much. And yeah, we out.